So I've talked about this. I've talked about the phenomenon of autism moms. Perhaps you can tell, or perhaps you know, I'm diagnosed with autism. And when I was much younger, when I was a teenager, I tried to go online and get support. And what you quickly run into in groups for people with autism is moms of children, they have self-diagnosed with autism, who come to dominate every group and get into the power structure of like autism forums. And then if they don't like you, they start like banning you and shit. It's fucking crazy. These autism mom infiltrators, it's horrific. That's my experience of autism moms. I wonder what this video is going to be. This video is called In Defense of Autism Moms. It was sent to me by, I believe, it must have been Hexathian. It's the beanie, dude. The beanie alone is already too much. Beautiful, where the Autie in beautiful is golden. This is Stephanie Bethany. No guarantee on this being interesting at all. I guess there's even a chance that it won't be cringe, although I presume, based on the beanie, this will be intensely cringe. It is also 25 minutes long. It's entirely possible it might have some interesting bits or fun bits to talk about, and huge stretches of boredom, so we will see. You voted for this, though. It's your fault. Just saying. Let us go.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and today...
She is wearing my shirts. She used to weigh, like me, over 100 pounds more than she does now. That's why we have blown out. That's why we have, like, you know, like, blown out neck holes. Neck hole? What is this called? What is this called, this hole? It's not a neck hole. It can't be called a neck hole. Collar, sure, yeah.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and today I want to talk to you about autism moms. What makes an autism mom, and kind of discuss why the typical autistic online response to people who say that they are an autism mom isn't helping anyone, especially the autistic community. Today's structure is going to be a bit different, as this was an essay that I wrote for...
Online reactions to autism moms aren't helping the autism community, of which I'm not a member. Please, fuck off, go away. Leave me alone.
One of my college courses, it is something called an ethnography. While it's not as in-depth as some ethnographies are for sure, basically it's a look into a subculture, and I chose to look into autism moms because I believe it is a group that a lot of people simply do not understand. What makes an
What am I looking at? The truly most misunderstood group, autism moms. Is this moms of people with kids with autism, or is this moms who are autistic? What makes an autism mom? Understanding the invisible bond and its importance to the future of the autistic community. One, the invisible bond and its importance to the future of the autistic community. That's 14 words? She made the autism mom 14 words. Bro. Is it deliberate?
Autism mom, understanding the invisible bond and its importance to the future of the autistic community. Motherhood is considered something to celebrate, a difficult and often thankless role that brings reward in the love returned from a child. Additionally, this difficulty can intensify when a child has a disability or other condition that requires specialized knowledge and care.
Yeah, no shit. It's harder when your kid is all fucked up, for sure.
One such disability is autism, which according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention can cause significant social, communication, and behavioral challenges. Mothers of autistic children may identify themselves as autism moms, a
bang!
Clear distinction from mothers of non-autistic or neurotypical children. However, this distinction and thus self-addition to the autism community is...
Wait. Stop. So this is, what? So it's autism community and mothers of kids who have autism, if they're not self-identified as an autism mom, they're not part of the autism community, but if they do, they are. This is fucking bizarre sicko mode. This is like RPG rules. This is some weird stuff. This is like subclass rules in the player's handbook.
Oftentimes met with hostility by autistic adults who protest the use of autism as a type of descriptor for a non-autistic mother. Moreover,
I never seen that. I ain't never seen that. What I have seen and have done is use the name autism mom derogatorily towards people online who come to dominate communities by saying, I've got my kid, I know a thing or two, okay? You're wrong about autism. No, I don't think you're autistic. My son, who I self-diagnosed as autistic, and you're not like him, so fucking autism mom, fuck off.
the community of autistic adults online tends to have little understanding of these mothers and their motives. This lack of understanding of autism moms has created a rift between autistic
I feel like I understand it too well, to be honest.
Adults and mothers of autistic children, ultimately putting the well-being of autistic children and the future of the community at risk.
If I'm like, fuck off autism mom, I'm putting their children at risk. No, I hate this. Hex, you gotta, please stop sending me these. This is too much.
The negative, critical attitude of the autistic community online toward autism moms shows a fundamental lack of understanding of these mothers, their unique relationship with their children, and the support needed to foster those relationships, in addition to potentially harming the future of the autistic community. I do want to note that for this, I did have to interview someone directly.
To be clear, when it comes to people struggling in their life on account of their autism, looking for a sense of community, looking for support from people who've been through it too, the people who are being truly ostracized and truly need support are, let's be real, it's white women. Okay, of course.
I am going to change their name for the video purposes to Jane Doe.
To be clear, without autism.
So if you hear Doe, I am talking about the last name of the person hereinto referred to as Jane Doe. I also conducted a search.
Yeah, these damn autists are making the non-autistic people feel uncomfortable, and that's a problem. Here's why everyone with autism online has to behave differently to make mothers of people with autism more comfortable. Look, we had empathy, we had understanding for people looking for support for their struggle with autism, but now it's affecting mothers. So suddenly you have to just not have social issues.
Survey of which I got 116 responses from mothers of autistic children.
Yeah, I'm not fucking surprised you did. You give them a crumb of attention, they'll be on it like piranhas.
It has quite a lot of information that I found interesting, but I will be using it as a reference for some of the information in today's video and obviously in the essay that I wrote. You will also see references to some of the negative aspects of autism, and some people may find this upsetting. However, I want you to understand that the negative things of autism do exist just as much as the positive. And when we pretend that the negative things of autism do not exist, we do ourselves a disservice, especially to this population of people. We
do ourselves a disservice, especially to this population of people. What population of people? Autism moms?
Demonized. Autism moms really need to be better understood. So when you hear this, when you're watching this, please understand I am autistic, and I'm not over here thinking that autism is a terrible thing or that people should feel like their children are burdens. I believe there's a lot of nuance that our community simply does not like to face, and I think that a lot of that has caused problems between autism moms and the autistic community. Because of previous experiences with autism moms who have developed negative relationships with their child, the term autism mom often draws the ire of autistic adults online. The online community of autistic adults tends to think of autism moms as mothers who do not understand their children well, use their child's identity to garner sympathy for themselves.
Yes, to the extreme. Many such cases. Yes, there's a reason people view them like this.
And in general seem to be attention seekers, wanting to normalize their burden of a child. For example,
attention seekers wanting to normalize their burden of a child. No, they're attention seekers wanting attention. They want attention. They're attention seekers looking for attention. It's that simple.
In a blog post discouraging mothers of autistic children from using autism mom to describe themselves, one autistic mother describes the stereotype connected to the term, saying, "Those moms who are on the internet crying in their car because autism ruined their life. Those moms that are covered head to toe in puzzle pieces. Those moms saying, 'I'm an autism mom and I'm a superhero because I love my autistic child.'" Another blogger further illustrates the assumption about the intentions and perspectives of autism moms in a response to a video posted by another mother saying, she talks about how she thought he was going to have a career, how she struggles to take him out into public. It makes me sad for her son. Imagine crying.
Why are they quoting my mom?
That's what she's doing, crying over who he is. And I would like to interject here and say that there are mothers who do take things to the extreme and do say things to the extreme, and it's not just a moment of weakness. It's not.
Okay, but like, I don't care. I don't care about that. I don't care. I don't care. I don't have to. I'm not the kid. I think very few people care about how the mother treats the kid, okay? We're just annoyed by the moms, or were annoyed. I pretty fucking quickly abandoned all hope of any support because of the infestation of autism moms online. But I imagine the people who stay around through that sort of shit, they're not worried about the kids.
Not just expressing difficulty.
If the kids even exist in every instance.
Some of them do see their children as burdens, but I highly encourage you to continue to the end of this video because I hope that you will understand what it means, why that might be happening, and how we may be able to prevent that potentially. Like these excerpts, many negative
prevent mothers from viewing their child as nothing more than a burden. Right. However, that will cause me to view autism moms as nothing more than a burden, so...
Comments about autism moms appear to not acknowledge the experiences unique to these mothers that, in part...
It's not enough for people to be like, the world has to raise my kid. You stranger, you influence my child, you have to raise my kid. Now, we have to look after the parents, too?
Explain their perspectives and right to use an accurate identifier. Despite what some may imply, mothers of autistic children have a very different experience than typical mothers due to their child's specialized needs. For example, an article published in the Journal for Specialists in Pediatric Nursing notes that being the parent of an autistic child is stressful because of related symptoms such as significant challenges in communication and learning due to issues related to emotional expression and language impairments, the need to be vigilant about and manage behaviors, extra caregiving needs, and the ongoing need to advocate on behalf of the child. The noted impairments usually become the focus of therapies. Sports, fun events, and typical bonding experiences are...
Let's drop in and be a little bit more meticulous and say, there's a huge problem apparent immediately, and I'm sure many of you have noticed as well. Autism is a condition of degrees. And to characterize raising an autistic child as any one way and try to use that to say you have to be more tolerant of annoying fucking people online is nonsense.
Replaced by numerous...
I suspect the mothers who are dealing with like a low-functioning fucking non-verbal autistic kid are not the annoying ones online who come off as attention seekers.
numerous specialist appointments. Based on data from a survey of over 100 mothers of autistic children, on average, an autistic child participates in at least 2 therapies, such as occupational, speech, or physical therapy. Mothers are constantly being told by professionals about the issues their child has, and progress is measured by charts, numbers, and assessments. Okay. One mother explained her different parenting experience by saying, "Things aren't always the same as they are with neurotypical children." And she expressed her hope that others would understand why we celebrate every little achievement. Another mom voiced her irritation with people comparing normal parenting to parenting autistic children, saying, "People are like, oh, well, it's not that different." I'm like, yeah, because you're changing diapers on your 12-year-old. Yeah, I'm gonna go with it's different. Well,
what? That's hyper omega extreme autism. But then that's like absolute rock bottom, barely a person level affliction. In which case, why would a mom of someone with autism so crippling and debilitating that they're incontinent as a result, or unable to even know when they need to go to the bathroom, or whatever causes that to happen, why would that mother then hang out with adults or teens who have autism to a much milder degree? What's the point? Why would that person get involved with that?
Other mothers may be displaying their child's soccer trophy. Many mothers of autistic children are celebrating.
Is this like an abusive mother about to make her autistic child eat a combination of soap and toothpaste? What are we looking at?
Their child mastering a skill like hairbrushing, or successfully using coping skills to avoid a meltdown. Initially, autism moms tend to go on a roller coaster of emotions regarding their child's diagnosis, depending on their understanding of autism. This usually begins with her whole defense of autism moms in online autism groups just convinces me they shouldn't be there. You could even benefit from groups that are more generalized, that are for groups for parents with, by the sounds of it, severely disabled children. Going and talking to some adults with mild Asperger's isn't going to do anything for you. What's the point? Overwhelming negative feelings. For instance, an article published in the Journal of Autism and Developmental Disorders states that parents who receive a diagnosis of a significant developmental disability for their child often experience strong emotional reactions that reflect their grief for losing the hoped-for, typically developing child. Hearing that their child has autism can send parents into despair, especially those who are not well acquainted with autism and have only heard about the negative aspects.
Okay, so why do I have to hang out with them?
In fact, some mothers directly blame their minimal knowledge about autism for their initial feelings of sadness and grief, including one survey participant who said,
"Stop looking at me like that.
I was sad for my child because I did not understand autism, but now that we are 5 years in, I no longer feel sorry for him. I just encourage him to be himself because he is an amazing child."
This is a mother whose internal monologue is constructed entirely of those posts on Facebook with a colorful background and huge text with an inspirational quote. That's all that she can see or hear in her mind.
The connection between knowledge about autism affecting emotional response is further supported by other mothers who reported feelings of relief because the diagnosis gave them an explanation and a place to start understanding what was going on. One surprisingly optimistic submission said, "Happy to finally know some answers and thankful to have..."
That's a gay child, not an autistic one.
Optimistic submission said, "Happy to finally know some answers and thankful to have so much support and help finding ways to help him improve each day." Mothers who were given support and information or already had some form of working knowledge appeared to have better initial reactions according to their responses. Additionally, most of the mothers had an improved attitude about their child's diagnosis over time, expressing feelings like proud, hopeful, and acceptance, although many still expressed their worry and fear for their child's future. Clearly, the better the understanding of autism, the more likely the mother would have a positive view or response about their child's diagnosis. In addition, shared feelings of isolation.
Oh no, is she gonna argue because the mother having a positive or accepting view of autism improved her view of the child? If you have autism, you need to be good to mothers of kids with autism so that they'll feel good about autism as a result of having interacted with an autistic adult. Like it's your job to do PR for autism so they don't hate their kids. Is that what this is gonna be?
Misunderstanding and stigma often result in a unique bond between mother and child, resulting in autism mom becoming part of the mother's identity. As the autistic child experiences
This sounds like a fucking anime.
direct stigma due to their disability, their mothers tend to experience associative stigma. According to a paper published in the...
Like you finally accept your child and a little beam comes out of both of you, and then you both turn bright white and you mold and melt together and you come out with like a giant sword and then a shield that's the autism puzzle piece. No, a sword that's that rainbow autism pride infinity symbol and then a shield that's the puzzle piece.
Journal of Child and Family Studies. Associative stigma refers to the concept that stigma may extend to associates, for example, family members, friends of a person with psychiatric problems. The same study tested people's perceptions of a fictional mother of an autistic child and a child with asthma and found that implicit evaluations of a mother of a child with ASD were less positive than implicit evaluations of a mother of a child with asthma.
Okay, but why?
This means that a mother of an autistic child was evaluated less favorably than a mother of a child with asthma.
Okay, but why? I ain't never been annoyed by the mother of a child with asthma.
Purely based on their child's condition. Notably, associative stigma...
Is it though? Do you know that the respondents never encountered mothers of children with autism versus mothers of children with asthma?
And isolation are well reported by mothers of autistic children. While autistic children have trouble making friends for a variety of reasons, including being avoided by others, their mothers may experience similar avoidance or undue blame for their child's condition.
Yes. The real victim in this scenario where a child is totally ostracized and unable to have any human connection is the mother. I understand.
For example, one mom shared in a survey response that it's very isolating. People don't understand why I provide structure and judge my parenting.
People don't understand why I provide structure. That sounds like them judging your behavior, not judging you just on the basis of having an autistic child.
Speaking to the assumption that bad parenting or choices made their child autistic, another mom wanted to share that having an autistic child does not mean we did something wrong and which caused it. Additionally, the demands of attending to the unique needs of an autistic person can cause isolation. One mother of 2 nonverbal sons, Jane Doe, said, "I've also lost friends. There are people who I have not talked to because I've had to cancel plans a few times."
You cancelled the plans. This section is about people's judgment of mothers of kids with autism purely on the basis of their child having autism. This is a quote of someone talking about losing friends and going on to talk about having to cancel plans presumably because of their non-verbal autistic children. Let me show you something. Oh no, a non-verbal autistic man escapes from a housing facility, runs naked into neighbors' homes. So, autism is a very, very broad spectrum. I am on it. It was pretty rough for me as a teenager, going through hormonal stuff. That was really tough for me, because one of my biggest problems is identifying my own emotions and whatnot. However, there are people who are much further along that measuring stick of autism. Perhaps they could be described as low functioning, maybe non-verbal. Here's perhaps an example.
Time to go to bed.
I haven't watched it yet.
Let's go. What are you doing? Let's go.
So Sean is 17 and a half. He is diagnosed severe autistic. He likewise has a seizure disorder.
It's not me. It's only me when I play certain games. So if your kid is, non-verbal, doesn't speak in words, perhaps only screams and is violent, I don't think that's an example of people judging you for your connection to the kid, especially if you're cancelling events yourself because of presumably how they're behaving. That's just people don't want to deal with that if they don't have to.
Yet another mother noted that she has to constantly rearrange things at work and other things like that to fix her child's needs, adding to...
That's literally nothing to do with people judging you for having an autistic child. What have we jumped onto? We didn't really spend any time on the judgment.
Explain the extent that it impacts her life, she continued saying, "Sometimes I lose jobs or have a hard time finding jobs because of it. This shared experience of stigma and isolation seems to create a unique bond between mother and child. In the case of Doe and her sons, this bond is positive. During observation, it became clear
the kid fucking up your career prospects and you losing your friends over it makes a unique bond that can be positive? What do you mean? Let's be clear, this Stephanie person is dumb. The problem here isn't autism. Nothing is lining up. Nothing is going 1, 2, 3, this, that, therefore this. It's like
that
bing
there
bong,
was
bing
an
bong,
almost
bing bong.
secret communication occurring between Doe and her sons that the average person could not easily comprehend. When asked about it, Doe responded, "It's the subtle cues you have to pay attention to, and it's not always easy. In addition to observable exclusive bonds, survey data shows a positive..."
You're right. They're so super unique. Just have groups for moms of kids with autism and just be in that group. It's that easy. It's that easy. You don't need to come anywhere near anyone else, okay?
Correlation between the mother feeling understood and how well she felt her child was understood. This implies that mothers linked how they were perceived with how their child was perceived. To the mother, both her and her child are intrinsically tied, not only through their natural mother-child relationship, but through autism. Autism becomes a part of the mother's identity as much as her child's, causing the inherent adoption of the identifier autism mom, though not all these mothers choose to openly use the term itself. Despite finding themselves in
it's kind of an underground identity, okay?
Mom subculture. If an autism mom does not have good supports or information regarding autism, a less positive relationship may develop between her and her child.
Oh no, she's actually doing the thing I did.
Autism
I said
mom.
she would.
Despite finding themselves in the autism mom subculture, if an autism mom does not have good supports or information regarding autism, a less positive relationship may develop between her and her child.
Autism momcore. She's doing the thing. She's gonna fucking say, you have to give autism moms the attention they crave. You have to be nice to them no matter what. You have to let them dominate all the online communities and so on and so forth. Otherwise, she'll have a negative association with autism and then that will affect her treatment and connection to her child. It's coming. It's what she's just set up for.
As discussed previously, many mothers directly blamed lack of information for their grief and otherwise negative initial responses to their child's diagnosis. And later, after having more information, they tended to have more positive feelings, including acceptance. Logically, it would follow that if a parent does not receive the necessary information and lacks understanding regarding autism...
How about does not seek? If they don't receive it... Sure, also if they do not seek it or find it.
They are more likely to have problems with accepting the diagnosis, as well as less positive feelings. According to a paper coming from the University of Haifa's Study of Child Development, when parents experience difficulties in resolution of the diagnosis, they may show ongoing grief, disengagement, or confusion, and may respond to the child in an overprotective, passive, or harsh way. Some of the Autism Mom survey respondents echoed this issue of ongoing grief, saying things like, "I am sad about it," and "I am still struggling every day," when asked to share how they currently feel about their child's diagnosis. The unresolved status that the autism mom stays in can result in disastrous situations, often blamed on the child. While many may argue that perhaps these mothers have a less positive relationship with their child due to the child's autistic behaviors, a study by Fetrasuan, PhD, and Miles, PhD, found no relationship between child characteristics and parenting stress. In fact, it was more likely that the fault lies primarily with the mother's unresolved feelings. A study investigating the relationship between the mother's resolution regarding her child's autism diagnosis and her
You want to go into that a bit more, or are you just going to give us the tiniest snippet with no further context to make it almost impossible to interpret? Thanks. Appreciate it.
Emotional availability notes that incoherent maternal representations may lead to distorted interpretation of the child's signals, as well as emotionally disengaged or rigid and intrusive behaviors toward the child.
So, I mean, if the mom doesn't get it, she'll fuck up and be nasty, over-controlling, dominating, not actually listen to the kid.
As well as emotionally disengaged or rigid and intrusive behaviors toward the child. Instead of developing the exclusive communication that is seen with Doe and her sons, a mother with unresolved feelings is more likely to misinterpret her child's signals and result in poor response.
No, don't talk harshly of autism moms. They're not attention seekers. They're just egotists. You know, doesn't really, I'm not really warming up to the autism mom community. Gonna be honest here.
With communication already being a struggle when it comes to autism, this can be detrimental to the mother-child relationship, even while autism remains a constant part of the mother's identity and tie with her child. However, that tie is seen as a negative aspect by the mother in these cases. For this reason, many autistic adults online associate negative mother-child ties with the term autism mom and subsequently request that mothers stop using this term. As discussed previously, the autistic...
Is there an example of this? I mean, dude, since my mid-teens, I've never tried to look into it, and I just dealt with that shit on my own. And I haven't struggled as much, because when you're going through the teenage hormones, shit gets wild even if you don't have autism. For autism, it can be very, very wild, and I looked online for like support groups or whatever, and just had a useless experience, and also got banned. I don't remember. I think it was a forum. Got banned and then let back on, and then an autism mom became a mod and then banned me. Because of me talking about myself and her disagreeing about my experiences.
The community tends to describe and view autism moms very negatively. Many of these autistic adults demand that autism moms stop using the term because it makes their child's condition about them.
Yeah, it does. It does. I wouldn't say stop using the term, you have to stop using the term. But no, I would judge it like that, sure.
An autistic blogger writes, "Autism is our culture. It's our identity. It's who we are. It's not who our parents are. And it's not something that defines anyone except for us." However,
at Halloween, I run into someone dressed up as Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, and I say, "My culture is not your costume."
these arguments completely ignore the fact that autism has very much impacted every moment of many autism moms' lives. Plenty of autism moms are like Doe, where every day requires that she explains her children to the world. And if
Right, they wouldn't accept this with race. The good test for this sort of thing is, I don't think she'd accept this with an analogous scenario where the person is around a different race constantly, and they're like, yo, imagine if I was like, yo, black culture, that's my culture.
Effectively be their voice, as if being a constant translator,
I'm a black white man.
Even while trying to empower them to be able to communicate for themselves. While Doe has fostered a positive...
How has this been 16, almost 17 minutes? What the fuck is the point? How is this defending autism moms?
Close relationship.
It's just saying, yeah, they're seeking attention, as is their prerogative. Okay, stay away from me.
and understanding with her sons, these posts assume that her finding autism mom as part of her identity must mean that she has a negative relationship with her children and demand that she change the identifier or suffer the consequences of a negative, stereotypical view they've refused to reevaluate. This is voiced through the blog post trying to persuade autism.
Suffer the consequences of me thinking poorly of you. Okay. Well, not that I would think that. I wouldn't assume that. In fact, I would be suspicious that a child even exists, online.
Moms to lose the term, saying, "You're grouped in with autism warrior moms when you continue to use autism mom as an identifier after learning how
Autism warrior moms? In square brackets? What did they originally say? Is she doing that because she corrected spelling, or was something else written there? What would you replace with autism warrior moms? What the...
autistics feel about it. You're going to find the people who think that autistics should sit down and stop talking, who think that neurodiversity is junk. Those are the kind of moms that you're going to get grouped in with if you use autism mom as an identity, and I don't want that for you."
This George guy seems to be talking about optics and about how other people will judge.
As well-meaning as the last line is, George's words come across more like coercion or even a...
Coercion? Saying someone's going to be grouped in with other people by observers because of what they call themselves. What are you talking about?
Identity, and I don't want that for you. As well-meaning as the last line is, George's words come across more like coercion or even...
Coercion.
a veiled threat.
A veiled threat? A threat to do what? A threat that he's going to think of her this way? A threat to think of her in a certain way?
Use autism mom as an across more like coercion or even a veiled threat. The approach of strong-arming autism moms into either not identifying with...
Strong-arming? That's a mild as fuck post.
...their own descriptor, or labeling them with mothers who ended up with maladaptive responses to autism diagnoses is alienating and counterproductive. After all...
Counterproductive? To what end? Is this one of these fucking people who just describes things as counterproductive because that's a negative word?
Denying someone their social identity can contribute...
Denying someone their social identity
to depression, which can negatively affect the mother's ability to create a positive bond with her autistic child. As an article on the importance of social identity states, social identity allows people to be part of groups and gain a sense of belonging in their social world.
Forced association with autism moms. Go away. Go away. Go away.
Trying to force autism moms to reject parts of their social identity can negatively impact their sense of belonging, as well as their mental...
Yeah, you don't belong anywhere near me. Good. Good. It shouldn't just be damaged, it should be shattered into pieces and smashed into dust with a hammer.
Mental health, since, as the article states, social factors can also be important causes of depression.
Sure. What? Do these people have to be her friend and say, I'm in a community with you? Otherwise, they're causing depression, which will result in the mother abusing the child. So, really, by not being her friend, you're leading to a child abuse?
Mental health of autism moms matters because it affects the level of parenting stress that, in turn, affects the relationship between mother and child.
Actually, if a mother of a kid with autism beats them with a fire poker, it's because people had a negative view of her and suspected her of abusing her kid or treating the child badly. So you have to be their friend, you have to be nice to them, and if you're not nice to them, the child will be hurt. You want to talk about shit that sounds like a threat?
According to the findings of a study on parenting stress in mothers of autistic children, parenting stress was related to maternal psychological distress assessed as depressive symptoms. Findings also suggest that depressive symptoms may lower perceptions of well-being. The more depressed the mother, the more stressful she found parenting her autistic child. Taking into consideration earlier discussion about a mother's unresolved feelings about her child's diagnosis creating less emotional availability
The adoring fan, 6 months on HRT.
And more likelihood for misunderstanding of her child's signals as well as insecure attachment, this depression may be an indicator of a potential negative turn in the mother-child relationship. The current approach of shaming these mothers into removing themselves from any association with the identifier autism mom is likely to cause more issues than help. Instead of adding,
I don't think any of these people are trying to help. I think the people who've been pointed to as the people who don't like autism moms are such a tiny minority, and really just wants them to I think generally the experience, my personal experience, is people just want them to stay away. Go away, you're annoying. If they are just crushed, good, actually, stay away.
Factors that could negatively affect mental health, supporting these mothers could improve their mental health and their relationship with their child.
Not my problem. I have responsibility to help raise your child because both your child and me have autism? Pan-autistic paternity? What is this?
According to an article on depression and mothers of autistic children, individual counseling for moms could be tremendously helpful. When the mother is helped with resolving her feelings about her child's diagnosis, or helped with symptoms of depression, mother-child relationship and overall outcome for the autistic child are likely to improve. The study on autism moms' resolve and emotional availability found that coherent and resolved mothers were more emotionally available than incoherent or unresolved mothers. These findings highlight the importance of—
I'll tell you, I've come across a whole bunch of incoherent mothers in my time online.
Supporting mothers' ability to accept the child's diagnosis. When mothers are more emotionally available and able to understand their child's signals more accurately, their relationship with their child is likely to improve. This is important for—
Right, and what can the mother do to that end? Anything? Is it impossible? Do autistic people in online forums need to do it for them?
For an autistic person's long-term outcome, according to an article published in the Journal of Autism and Developmental Disorders, which says, mothers who reported higher quality relationships with their sons and daughters with ASD had children with fewer externalized and asocial behaviors at the end of the study. Improvements in the mother-child relationship were associated with reductions in impairments in social reciprocity. Overall,
I'm sure, but you're trying to draw an insane line between the mother and people talking to them online and saying the people talking to them online are responsible for the mother's perception of their child. That's insane.
overall, supporting autism moms and giving them the—
Like, okay, there's a study on it. I don't know about this. Not my field of expertise by any stretch of the imagination. However, wouldn't the conclusion be like, there should be something mothers can pursue to do that for themselves? Or do they just have no agency whatsoever?
the best chances at a positive relationship with their child is ultimately helpful to the autistic community, since her autistic child will see better outcomes. Autism moms are often in the throes—
Yes. This is exactly what I'd expect. Yes, it's autism moms going a step beyond attention seeking. You're suggesting the strategy the autism mom should have is to hold their child's well-being hostage and say that other people have to behave the way she wants, or it's going to impact the child. Oh no, I want to dominate every space I'm in. You have to let me. I've got the kid. You're going to hurt the kid. The kid's autistic. You're hurting the autistic community if you don't do what I want. Exactly what I'd expect. This is not a defense. This is an accidental total condemnation beyond anything I would have said in the past.
of uncertainty, isolation, stigma, and poor mental health, all while sharing these experiences with their autistic child. Whether viewed positively or negatively, autism ties mother and child together in a way outsiders are unlikely to understand well. This includes—
Okay, then there's no point in talking to me, because I won't understand it. Thank you.
the community of autistic adults online, who seem to believe their criticism of autism moms will somehow improve quality of life for autistic people. Contrary to that approach, understanding why
It will if it gets autism moms to fuck off of support forums. I imagine my teen years could have been better if they had. I should have been way harsher to them and perhaps even scared them off the internet so they didn't weasel their way into mod positions.
Why autism moms experience the emotions they do, as well as why negative relationships may form, can help pave the way in helping properly support them. Bringing appropriate help to these mothers is likely to foster more positive relationships between mother and child.
Bringing appropriate help to these mothers. What about these mothers seeking appropriate help?
As well as better outcomes for the autistic person. Further research regarding the risk factors in the mother-child relationship turning negative in this population is needed, as well as the effects of mental health support and intervention for the autism mom over time. So I hope what you got from this is a better understanding of autism moms and the very likely idea that autism mom is...
I can't. This isn't fucking real.
Really an accurate identifier. They belong to that subculture. They don't fit in with mothers of neurotypical children. They don't fit in with a lot of other places. And they're already dealing...
Do they fit in with other mothers of children with autism?
With a lot of isolation and stigma themselves. To try to say, because we're autistic, you're not allowed to say autism mom, that is not helping the situation. And quite frankly, it is such a...
You didn't even provide one example of someone saying that. You provided an example of someone saying he thinks other people are going to view her a certain way because of what she calls herself. That's it.
Little issue. It is such a small thing for them to be able to say autism mom. For you to say, well, it hurts my feelings when you say autism mom because you're not autistic. To me, that's really petty. And maybe I'm just not being empathetic to people who feel that way. And I get it. There are mothers of autistic children, autism moms, who have said and done horrible things. But shaming everyone into not using that doesn't help the situation. Instead, I think it would be great if mothers of autistic children took back that term from the negative connotation that it has, and I would really appreciate it if autistic advocates of autistic children shaming everyone into not using that doesn't help the situation. Instead, I think it would be great if mothers of autistic children took back that term from the negative connotation that it has, and I would really appreciate it if autistic
The AM word. We need to take back the AM word.
Advocates and other autistic people online in the community.
Am I misjudging her age? Is she like 14? She says school, not college.
Would revisit their own stereotypical...
So it could be college, or it could be like secondary school.
...view of parents of autistic children. Of course, a lot of this does apply to higher...
Like, is she a kid?
...support needs mothers, because quite frankly, my mother didn't have to deal with a lot of things. Her daily life was not very well defined by autism. But those who are parents of higher support...
was not very well defined by autism.
...support needs children are. They are ultimately responsible for constant...
No, it's a 6-year-old with progeria. Oh, shit. I've just been ripping on a dying baby this whole time. I didn't realize.
Advocating, constantly being the only way that the world and their child can interact. They make sacrifices that are more than the average mom, and I feel like it's dishonest to try to say otherwise. This essay and research has actually helped me to better understand autism moms, and I hope that it has helped you as well.
Saying otherwise.
Eventually in the future, I might make more videos over some of the data that I found. There's just a lot of things that I think
some of the data I found
are stereotypes that aren't necessarily true, and it really helped me to do this research.
She may have... No. Not necessarily your bad trait. Let me check if she said college.
And find that out for myself. I do intend...
You're probably right. I'm just finding it hard to believe this is an adult.
To continue having conversations around different things in the autism community and being able to build bridges instead of burn them when it comes to this idea of us versus them
What if people don't want a fucking bridge? What if they're burning the bridge on purpose? What if they're throwing Molotovs very deliberately, knowing exactly what's going to happen?
The parents of autistic people are important. They are literally raising
Autistic mom lives matter.
the next generation of autistic people.
Yo, I'm starting to think that 14 words at the start was deliberate. Wait, is this, we have to, like, secure the autistic future? We have to be good to autism moms so that the next wave of autism will be stronger? What the fuck? This is autism nationalism. Unironically, not as a joke.
And when we isolate them and when we demonize and villainize them, unless they adhere to every little rule we come up with.
What the fuck are you talking? What every little rule? They're always the ones. They're always the ones online who are fucking going off on other people for not behaving how they want. What are you talking about?
It's not going to help them. They're not going to turn to us to listen to us when we treat them like garbage.
Good. What the fuck? Perfect. Mwah. Perfect. Perfect. Yes.
And it's not helping anybody. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video or found it somewhat
It helps me. Or it would have helped me as a kid.
interesting or informative, go ahead and hit that like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please be respectful to each other and preferably to me as well. If you're interested in autism related content from me, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I upload to this channel every Thursday at 4 p.m. Central Standard.
Oh my god. This video is an adaptation of an ethnographic essay I did for school. There are some minor adjustments, but most of it is verbatim. This means you may hear a very introductory explanation of parts of autism, person, first language, etc. Furthermore, this looks into what makes an autism mom and makes an argument that isn't exactly popular in the current autistic community online. Are we going to have Autism Plus? I also want to clarify that this is more in regard to the mothers of autistic children who have higher support needs, as, for example, my upbringing wouldn't require autism to be so closely associated with my mother's existence. Yeah, it would also mean that there's no point in them getting involved with groups and online forums for teens and adults who have less debilitating forms of autism, because there's no connection there between them and the autism mom. Let me hide this for a sec. I have a really bad feeling she has, like, lewds. Hang on. Because the Instagram model pics? Oh no. Right, yeah, okay. Trey, you're right. She's 28 years old. 28, married, autistic Christian. Believes in freedom of speech, thought, faith, belief, and perspective. What is COTA/L? COTA/L. What does that mean? Certified Occupational Therapist Assistant/licensed. It's a laugh. It's not serious. Don't worry. You know, sometimes you scroll through on the net and watch, like, dumb videos of animals? This woman is one of the dumb animals I watch online. Don't worry, I'm not stressed or anything. Interview: my background and transition to this country as an autistic teenager. You may be an expert in that field, but I am an expert in my child, is one of her Instagram posts. Holy fuck. Oh. Autism isn't a dirty word. Okay, here we go. Autism isn't something you have to lower your voice and whisper to say. What are these two? Okay, these are both good as hell. What is stimming? Typically a repetitive movement that a lot of people on the autistic spectrum will do when they're stressed. I rock a bit. Some people, like, wave their hands and stuff. Merch. We gotta get some merch. Autism isn't a dirty word. That's so stimmy. You can't call me stimmy. No. Okay. Wait. Resources. Autism identification. This makes sense, okay? Look, if someone genuinely is like, has huge social anxiety and is autistic or whatever, I get wanting this card, maybe. Like, if you're scared you're gonna fuck up when you're stopped by the police or something, sure. But, holy fuck, you could present it in a less insanely hilarious way. A quick guide to stimming. Transitions and meltdowns? What? What do you mean? Like if you lock down and find it hard to talk in stressful scenarios, maybe? I don't know. When should I tell my child they're autistic? Oh, that's a fair question. That's a fair question. But still. Faking autism and other disorders. There's been an unfortunate trend amongst mostly younger people in faking autism and other conditions for clout. Or has there? I didn't know. Haven't noticed. Highlighted as one of 4 autistic YouTubers to subscribe to in April. Can I get on that? Indie Andy remembered for his contribution to the autistic community. Hold on. Faking autism and other disorders. I have Autism Classic. I have Autism Classic. Yo, I actually have a double diagnosis. Do you know the secret lore? I was diagnosed during a period that lasted for a while, and I think it still goes on to some degree, but in clinical psychology, people were arguing over whether high-functioning autism should be all there is, like, should be the term, or should it be Asperger's, or should it be melded together, or whatever. So I technically have a diagnosis of both Asperger's and high-functioning autism, because the guy was like, look, there's like a debate going on over this. I'll just say both. I'll give you like a document that says one and one that says the other. Dual autism citizenship. I'm considered autistic in both the USA and the UK. This is the most horrendous layout I've seen in my life. Social contagion. Stop. 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 People getting tons and tons of views. People getting tons and tons and tons of fucking views. And then other people mimicking them. That ain't social contagion, okay? Bro.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I am a late diagnosed
That makes sense, Hobo. Yeah.
autistic adult. Here on my channel, I usually cover autism-related things with a focus on being research-based. Today, I want to talk to you about the rising conversation around faking disorder.
Hold on.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I am a late diagnosed autistic adult. Here on my channel, I usually cover autism-related things with a focus.
I think when I was diagnosed here, it was like 14, but I'd had like flags and other stuff looked at as a kid, and they used records from when I was a kid to make the decision, including shit like I started to read at a very, very fucking young, I don't remember what age, but it was like insanely young age to start reading. And then also, I never crawled. Like, apparently that's one of the big things. I never crawled. I just went from not moving to walking. I was just like, I'm just gonna walk. I see everyone walking, I'm just gonna walk.
Focus on being research-based. Today I want to talk to you about the rising conversation around faking disorders, including autism. This is a controversial topic, and I imagine some people are going to have some big emotions over it, so please use restraint when...
But like, apparently just skipping developmental steps, still reaching the further steps, but just like not having some of them is a common autistic thing.
engaging with others in the comment section, please. And please bear with me before making assumptions about what I'm going to say or how I see things, etc. Now, a while ago, I made a video on autism self-diagnosis.
Oh my god, it's fucking 23 minutes long. I don't know if I can listen to her voice. Let's see what else is on the channel. What the fuck is this? Why autistic youth should watch Kimi ni Todoke. The infuriating truth behind Sesame Street. Nice. I've got the scratchy mouse, boys. It's happened again. It feels like there's a bit of sand on it. Okay, it's gone. It's gone. Autism checklist. When should I tell my child they're autistic? Hey, it's me. Nah, it's not the skates. It's because I have a glass mouse pad. If you get the tiniest bit of grit, like between the pad and your skates, or like, you know, the little gaps, the tiny gaps at the edge of the skates. If like a bit of grit gets stuck in there and won't come out, it goes on the mouse pad. Whereas like on a cloth pad, you don't notice. Didn't know glass mouse pads were a thing. Yeah, there's a glass and there's ceramic. They're metal mouse pads, but I don't know how those are. They are good if you want super smooth, super low friction, which I think most people don't.